About 135,000 children are adopted in the United States each year. Of non-step parent adoptions, about 59% are from the child welfare or the foster system. 26% are from other countries, and 50% are voluntarily relinquished American babies. Now that we got some numbers down, some statistics down about some orphans, around the world and percentages, now I want to talk about what the difference is about an orphanage and a foster home. I know the United States doesn't have orphanages anymore. They changed it. They practically just have foster homes. And in countries like Mexico, Bangladesh, Africa, China, Taiwan, all these other countries that still have orphanages that are very corrupted, that you'll find a lot of them corrupted. Here in Mexico, there is corruption for sure. In the United States, there is corruption. I was a foster kid myself, so I can actually give you a pretty good idea of what the foster care is like over there, and what is like care over here in Mexico. I'm not a foster kid here, or I've never been in a foster home here in Mexico, but I am always I visit orphanages and talk to orphans, and I'm always involved. I dedicate a lot of my time to trying to find out orphan what is orphan life, and what is it like, because I was obviously I was touched by that that subject. But right now I want to stick to the subject of what is the difference of an orphanage and a foster home. We know that children who have been placed in foster care is because they have been removed from their homes due to lack of proper care or abuse. In my case, I was a foster child. Actually, me and my little brother Sergio, we were in an abusive situation, and we were put into a foster home. Well, first we were put into a shelter, and then we were put into a foster home. A shelter is just a place. It's like a temporary place when you first, get taken away from the families, and then they push you there for a week or so, and then they find you a home, and then they find you a family that you're gonna live with, you know. But many tend to believe that foster care is more nurturing than an orphanage. Well, I can tell you through my experience, because I have been with two different families. The first family that we were with, they were loving and caring, and that lasted about 3 years, and it was the best family I ever had. Okay, unfortunately, the other house we got moved into, the other foster home that we got moved into after being in the first foster home, that we had a great, you know, grown up. I mean, growing up experience. We practically, they took care of us. They loved us. They disciplined us. There was no abuse in that foster home. I love that woman. I still do right now. I'm so grateful for having met her. After we were there 3 years, and it was a great experience. After that, she had some issues with her husband. I believe he cheated on her, and she was a Christian believer who loved the Lord, and to her it was devastating that happened. So she went on some kind of depression, and she couldn't take care of us anymore. And she was like 60 something years old, so she was pretty old, and getting out there, But she was very caring. After that, we went to another foster home, and the reason I'm saying this is because I want to show you guys the difference, between a foster home and and an orphanage. There is some differences, but I want to focus also in the point that where does the nurturing part come? Will kids get more nurturing in a foster home, or will kids get more nurturing in an orphanage? So I'm gonna start talking to you guys about that a little bit more. And after I got moved out from the other home, we ended up with another foster lady who was like, I bet she was like 40 something years old, and her son was a drug addict who sold drugs. I mean, I knew that was at this time. I was 16 years old. I was pretty aware of things, and I had learned a lot through the first home that I was in with my little brother. She had two little kids. One of them 3-year-old, I believe, and the other one was 11. And she abused him verbally and physically. And I got to watch that. Whenever the foster care, whoever supervised the foster children, us will come. She will dress everybody up and shower everybody, sit everybody on the couch, and act like everything was normal, and but it wasn't. There was a lot of abuse there, and she wasn't. I know she wasn't in it for the money. I mean, I know she wasn't in it for the caring of the children. She was in it for the money. Because a lot of times money corrupts people, and unfortunately that's what happened in this situation. Like I said, I was 16 years old at the time, and I took care of my brother, and I just got to see she even put chains on the refrigerator so the boys wouldn't get up and eat at night, that kind of stuff. So there is some pros and cons to have to be in a foster home, because it all depends on the people who are taken care of. Here in Mexico, I know in an orphanage that there's a director here in the orphanage, and he loves those kids. As far as getting the one-on-one attention, that's, like I said, that's still something, a debate on it, because if you have a lot of kids in an orphanage, like let's say you have 20 or 30 kids in an orphanage, and you're just one, and a lot of times here in Mexico, orphanages have a lack of people who want to help. Like the orphanage that I visit here, you guys seen some of the videos here. There's only one one girl that takes care of like sometimes 7 babies, and there's 15 kids that the director takes care of. So it's a lack of help, and so that might be an issue, because kids get neglected, not because they want to, because they can't pay attention to every single one of them. They don't get the one-on-one attention that they should get, like if they were in a family. But like I said, I was with the family, and I did get the one-on-one attention. My first foster parent was a French foster parent who was really great to us, and she spent time with us and talked to us. But I believe that you'll get less attention if you're in an orphanage, because there's so many kids, unless there's more help, there to be provided by others. But other than that, that's one of the differences that make a big difference and a big impact in a child's life. What kind of a life, one-on-one, maybe the affection they need, the loving, the caring. It's not that you're just living and you grow up and you leave. So it's not just about that. So that's one of the differences I can point out right now. Thanks so much for staying. Please share this video and don't forget to subscribe. Psalm 68:5 says, "The father of the fatherless and protector of widow is God in his holy habitation. He who numbers the hairs on our head will certainly not turn away from the children living as orphans," and this should inspire us to act.